Okay, hi guys. Um, this is Life is Feudal. Feudal? Feudal. Feudal. Right, I think. Okay, this is actually the third time I tried to make this recording. I had some problems earlier, probably because I was stayed up late, got up early. Something I'm advising you young folk not to do. Stay up late and get up early, but don't do them one after the other. Life is Feudal is an early access game. There's a lot of development still being done. Um, as you can see right from the start, the graphics are incredible here. I don't know if they just lucked into somebody who happened to do a lot of graphics or whether they put a lot of money into graphics at the beginning. I'm thinking if they put a lot of money in the beginning into graphics, maybe they should have rethought that, because there's still a lot of work needs to be done on the other side of the game, but still, it is beautiful stuff. Okay, just to give you a sense of how much activity there is going on with this game, right now there are all these games being played, and you can see that the line over here is getting shorter and shorter, which means there's hundreds of games. So there's a ton of activity on this. A ton of activity around this game. Just known as a PVV game in trade in Quebec. Quebec Libre. And anyway, you can see the locks over there, so there's a lot of private games going on. So that's where it gets really good, because you can set up a whole active community and share the one server and build your own little world. That's all I wanted to show from this scene, just to show you the activity and the possibilities here. Let's go right into create a world. Ton of options here. Won't go into those because that's not most of what I would tell you here wouldn't be, excuse me, I'm going to clear my voice, uh, wouldn't make a whole lot of sense until you get some perspective of what's going on inside the game, so we'll just leave that. Colonization and sandbox are pretty much the same thing. In fact, I should be on sandbox. Colonization has something to do with how trying to achieve your maximum goals at a particular length of time, and I'm not quite sure what that means exactly. But anyway, over here it says disable all antivirus firewalls before you create your own world. I do not advise ever doing that. Never leave yourself unprotected. Most antivirus firewalls will pop up a little message saying, hey, something's strange here. Should I let it proceed? Just click let it proceed. And it gets you in. Well, you have to pretty much put your faith in the developers here and in the Steam community that they haven't picked up any real nasties going on with this. So, yes, never ever disable antivirus firewall. Alright, I am just going to pop in to this game I've already created. And I click start. There, once again, beautiful, beautiful graphics. What can I tell you right from the beginning? Okay, I could have showed you how to create a character, a new character, but that you guys have done that 1,000 times already. There's nothing really unique about it. They do focus on the cap system, which comes up again later in the skill development, so I'll just let that go and explain that later. All these try to read all of these, because there's all of these tips at the bottom while you're loading, because there's a lot of stuff comes up there that is valuable. I'm a really slow reader, so I have to read like the first half first, and the next time it comes up I read the last half, and I finally get all the information. So some of the things you might notice in terms of what might go wrong, but actually, to tell you the truth, there's not a whole lot in terms of bugs that you're going to run into. At least not on my system. There maybe on some there may be issues. Um, One would be that when you close out of this game, you will close out of this window, but there will be, right now we're building around the server, and the server window will stay open in the background, so you'll have to close that after you exit the game completely, either by clicking the little X at the upper right hand corner of the window, or hit Control C if you're in focus on the window. Okay, let us jump in. I don't know where I came up with many junkets I use a lot, but buyer, no idea. Might have been some porn movie I was watching or something. Anyway, so enter the game. Well, we've still got a few loading things to do here. Not much left though. Close again. Maybe I'll just shut up. I can't shut up. Look at the beautiful graphics. Finally. Okay, here we are. When you start out in the game, you're in the most selection mode. Hit the tab key, and then you can look around. I've done quite a bit of work on this game so far. I'm kind of starting to build my little home. When you first enter the game, I'm going to hit the map key, and there's the world you're in. You usually start out over in this corner, and then you end up swimming across. And there's no reason why you had to start out in a little safe place. Maybe they're going to introduce nasty animals later on over here, but right now there's nothing to fear. You can just start and swim right across right away and start doing what you want to do in the major part of the thing. It's really not much in the map to show. You will have to find things like clay eventually, and those are around those little gaps in you see little gaps in the hillside there. Other than that, not much here. So we'll exit out of the map and start taking a look around. Right now you're seeing what terraforming I've done so far. What I'm going to do is continue terraforming. Well, I've pretty much done all the terraforming I need. I'm terraforming in order to eventually build my first little hut. Eventually I can get to the point where I can actually build castle walls and have a huge thriving community if I go in that direction. Essentially, here's how terraforming works. Whenever you want to interact with some part of the world, you hit the Q key or the right mouse key. That brings up your options here. When you start the game, you start out with prospecting, forestry. You don't have carpentry. You have terraforming. You don't have construction. You have farming, fishing. I think you must have arts. Authority's not there. I don't know when that pops in, but it's fairly soon in the game. Anyway, so we start out with terraforming, and I'm going to hit observe, and you'll see a layout of your surrounding area, all the elevations. You can see what you want to be able to do is take soil from here and plop it down here, lowering that, raising that, and building your flat area. So you see I've done a fair amount of work already putting everything at elevation 7. You can get a closer look by pressing the C key, which puts you in first person mode, and again pressing the tab key so you can look around and you get a really, really nice perspective of what's going on and what you might want to do. Of course, you can still move around. So let's just give you an example of what you have to do. You come over here to something like this spot, where you can take some soil, escape out of the view, hit the Q key or right mouse key, go back transforming. You can start, when you first start, you get raised lower ground. You don't get tunneling. That you learn how to do, and flatten you learn how to do later on. So in this case, we want to lower some ground because we want to take some away. So you dig out your trusty shovel. Maybe I'll go into third person just to give you an idea of what's going on here. Okay, so I've now, if I press my inventory key, you will see I've collected 30 stones of soil. Sorry, they measure in stones. Excuse me again. My voice is still early morning. They measure in stones, not pounds or other units. Also, I want to show you that if you press the system key, it'll show you that, for example, this time I've collected 30 stones of soil. I'll explain some of this other stuff in a minute. Okay, so back to tab key, we go over to an area. If I press the shift key, I can run a little bit. And we'll get to an area here where we can do just the opposite. So we focus on the area we want to work on, press the Q key, if I can get one, there we go, and terraforming, and now we're going to raise ground. So we'll be dumping, if you don't have any soil with you, it'll just say you can't do that now because you need 30 things of soil. So there you go, we just raised, actually 1/10, it goes up and down 1/10 each time you do a raise or a lower. Okay, so that's what I've been doing here. I had a campfire at one point, but for some reason the campfire decided it was broken, so I can't even light it up for you. Not that it would show much at daytime and all. And I ended up making a furnace so I can smelt. Unfortunately, I don't have a smelting skill, so I don't know why they allowed me to do that so early in the game. And this was a monument I was supposed to build, which I don't have the skills to make all the tools for. So I don't know why they allowed me to do that so early in the game. The monument, what that does is if you get killed for some reason, you respawn back at the monument. If you don't have a monument, you'll spawn back on that little island where you entered the game. Okay, let's just take a quick look at the skills system. You can see all these skills. Here's the big important part right here, right down the bottom here, 606 in this case. This can be changed on that opening screen that it didn't go into any detail. That the person who creates the world can make this higher or lower. What this says, that's your cap. What this says is you can't build a total number of skill points higher than, in this case, 606. So you have to, right from the start, make some decisions on what you want to specialize in. For example, if you want to specialize in farming, then, make sure there, okay, in farming, then you do most of your work in farming and your skill points will build up there, and so you eventually be able to get close to the top of your max on farming or on any other ones. Now, if you get to your max on full, or if you want to make fine-tuning along the way, there are some things you want to do. Say you're maxed out on farming, but you're also maxed out on nature lore, which will lead eventually into pharmaceuticals. So what you would do is say, okay, every time I want to build up more points in farming, take them away from the nature lore. So to do that, you just reverse the arrow. So now every time as you're doing your farming work, it will continue, you will continue to level up, and you will gradually go down in nature lore. or you can just place it so that all the work you do in nature lore has no effect whatsoever in terms of leveling up. And so that's how you can fine-tune your skill development as you go along. Okay. Right now, okay, just a quick aside, two things I wish I'd have known right at the beginning, about apples and about right-clicking on your tools. By pressing T, I can open my, it's like a normal character menu. For the longest time, I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to develop my carpentry skills, for example, or what was the one I was looking at? Where is it? L. The logging skills. No, it was construction skills, right? I couldn't figure out how to get those to build up. It stayed at 0 for the longest time. And I was just checking around on some of these tools, and I happened to right-click on, and behold, it gave the options of what I can do. So I would click on shape, and it would open this menu, and I would pick shape some rocks, and what you would do is you would build up rocks from doing some tunneling, which I can show you in a second, and that's how you start creating the materials from which you can, I guess because it's rocks, I suppose you would build castle walls from that eventually. So yes, that was one of the important things that I wish I'd known from the beginning, was knowing that. The other one being apples. Sounds like a small thing, but when you first come into the game, you have to spend a fair amount of time grubbing around in the dirt looking for roots in order to eat, and you seem to waste a lot of time doing that. I just read somewhere about there were apple trees, and if you go to an apple tree, it'll give you the option of harvesting apples, which when you eat them, number one, you can gather more of them and store them, and each one gives you more sustenance per apple, and each one makes that awful sound when you eat, which I hope they change, because that is absolutely maddening. Sounds like the inside of a cow's mouth or something. Okay, now when you're just part of the general work process, you would go to something like a tree. Say you wanted to cut down a tree, for example, so you would Q or right click. Now in this case, it doesn't give you the option of cutting down this tree because it's a hardwood tree, and I don't have that particular skill. I can collect bark. I'm not sure what the bark's used for. Other things I can do, collect a sprout. Important to do, because after you build a large community, a lot of these trees are going to disappear, and you want to be able to reforest. So you would collect as many sprouts as you can and plant them later on after you get the planting skill. You can inspect a tree, which I'll do right now to give you an idea of stuff you can get from it. This happens to be a maple tree. Its quality is 13, which is low. Better quality materials make for better tools and better constructions. I haven't tried to chop it down. And I can get 5 bark, 10 branches, and a sprout. Branches is the important thing right from the start. Q. Forestry. You have to collect branches, so you snap them off. Branches are what you use to create your first primitive tools, like all those tools that you see on my back right there right now. Are primitive tools which began as a branch. Now, press I. Okay, I'm going to right click on the branch. It says create primitive tools, brings up a menu you're now familiar with. Say I want to create an axe. These are the things I would want to have. I already have 2 branches. I only need 1. I need some flint, and I need some fiber. So that gives me an idea. Fiber, you would again press Q if you get an area that, there we go. Pressing Q. So if you go to nature lore, it says search for herbs, which isn't there at the beginning. You can gather fiber right from the start or look for edibles, which I did too much of at the beginning. So now we do this. We beat the crap out of some grass in order to make fiber. I can't remember. How many fiber did I need? Do you or anybody remember? I for inventory, right click, create primitive tool, axe. I needed 2 fiber, so let's beat some more grass. I'm not going to go into too much of this kind of demonstration because that's you know, stuff you're just going to pick up along the way anyway. I just wanted to give you a sense of how this whole thing works. Oh, yeah, you're tired. I ran too much. Okay, you have to kind of watch your stamina. This classic in the lower left-hand corner, the classic stamina bar, health bar. Okay, there's one thing. There's your. Okay, let me stop here for a second. This here is your food, how hungry you are. The higher the better, meaning you've eaten. So let's just eat another apple. You will see this number will go up. Ta-da, 69. Okay, this over here is an alignment bar. If you, maybe if you steal, I don't know, certainly if you kill, your alignment goes down. If your alignment is low, or I guess relative low, depending on what kind of person you want to be, and you yourself get killed, you lose way more skill points. Like when you die, you lose skill points. I suppose maybe I should have pointed that out. So if your alignment is really low, you lose a lot of skill points, and you pretty much have to start all over again. Whereas if your alignment is neutral, and I don't know what makes the alignment go up. Maybe they haven't worked that out yet either. But if your alignment is higher, then you lose less skill points, and maybe at some point you don't lose any at all if you're an angel. So that's what those bars are all about. So I am on my way over to, where am I going? I'm going over to this rock area to, it was flint I was looking for. So Q again, and under prospecting you will find search for useful flintstone. Sometimes you don't find any flintstone, but usually you do. And did I? Yes, I did. Now, let's go back to create primitive tool. Let's go back to axe. I still only have 1 fiber. I guess I didn't find the fiber. How come I only have... Oh, that's a rock. I found a rock. Isn't that nice? Oops, sorry. Okay, let's try that again. Search for useful flint. You hear me going on saying that you usually find the flint, and I, in this case, did not find any flint. Okay, now I have flint. Now I need some more fiber. Always, at my age, you need more fiber, believe me. Okay, one quick search here for some fiber. Oh crap, sorry, I clicked edible. I might come up with a root. Come on, hurry up. Got things to do. Where was it? Lore. Gather fiber. All this for one quick demonstration. Anyway, giving you a general idea of how the mechanics of the thing work. Did I get one that time? Yes, I did. All right, here we go. Back to our stick, back to create primitive tool, back to axe, have fiber, have flint, have stick, have craft. So we're going to make another axe. I already have an axe, so if I ever see you guys, I can give you my axe. Hopefully I won't have to use it martially. Anyway, there's our axe. That's how you spend quite a bit of time in the beginning, is building materials, preparing the campsite, and trying not to get tired and running out of stamina. Okay, so what have I covered so far? Actually, I covered most of what I wanted to do, because the whole point of setting up this little video was to show you how this game is just ideal for this kind of building of little towns and villages, and setting up community online just to get you away from the madding crowd. There's a lot of complexity here that I'm not going to go into, because it would just change the whole focus of the demonstrations from the beginning. I'm just trying to think if there was something else that would be crucial to the point. I don't think so. I would highly recommend you checking this game out. Right now it's on sale in Steam for 40% of the price, and that is pretty much really the price it should be at generally, because it is early access, and it should be trying to build up a community, and because that's what this whole game's all about. I was just thinking I would show you some of the martial part of it by pressing the R key, and if you see down here in the hot bar key, these are the four: your lower left and right leg, and your left and right arm. So if I click this, I'm going to pull out my pick, I think that is, and so you swing the pick. Not very exciting looking, but that's how you do it. And in this game, your motion depends on what you do. Right. That, if you're moving left, and if you're moving right, it's supposed to swing. Maybe it's because there's a pick, they can't have different animations, but essentially that's how combat works. You don't get skill points in combat, especially by simply killing somebody. It's in the swing, the number of swings you have against somebody, and with each swing you get more skills. So if you want to be a swordsman, you swing a sword. If you want to be a hammer guy, you swing with a hammer, and so you gain points in that way. And in fact, they discourage you killing people anyway. What you do is, when you get to, like, say someone's beating the crap out of you, well, number one of the things is run away, or you can go into the defensive mode. Okay, you're moving faster this way. I don't know how long I have to do this before you can see the shading area, so I can get to run a long way before I have to worry about end. I'm not using stamina, I'm just walking fast, and I guess I'm running fast and using less stamina as well. So anyway, that's your runaway your runaway mode. This one over here is your I give up, take my stuff, go away, leave me alone, and you end up being, I think, knocked out if I've read the material correctly. And this one, I think, is to recall home. I've never tried that. I can't do that either because I'm still running away. Anyway, folks, I guess I'm in default run mode now. There we go. I didn't really find the martial part all that important. I just think community is big on this game, and I really think you should check it out. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to stop chattering at you and hit the exit key, which will take me back to this screen, and I can continue chattering for moments longer. And as soon as this screen goes away,